How's it going, YouTube? Coming to you today with another video, and today, guys, what the review is going to be the meta end boards for the new format, and I do hope that this gives you a glimpse into what you can be expecting, because this is going to help you out with your sideboarding. That's going to also help you with your card economy. This is really important because you know where to expend your resources, and you have a good idea of where your opponent is trying to go with their combo. When you don't really have a solid idea of what they're trying to do, a lot of times you can waste your interruptions. But when you know what they're trying to do, you at least have a good idea of what is more of a lackluster play and what they really want to do. So if you haven't already checked out my sponsors over on Gem, Cloud, Arla, RW, Imperium, Grimoire, Dragonshield, or Main Phase, definitely go ahead and do so all down below in the description. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so we can hit our goal at 30,000. And without further ado, let's hop right into our first topic. The first one I have for you today is going to be Draco Tail. This deck is really cool, but it's also very low to the ground, and it needs the new support. The level 2 light spellcaster is really important because it means that Aluber is full combo for Branded and Draco Tail, which is really cool. But so Draco Tail has a very low to the ground end board right now. So it's gonna be both the fusions with both the trap cards and Femina in hand. You could have some other cards in hand for sure, probably like 3 or 4 even, just because this is all 1.5 card off Lucius plus a monster in hand. But you have Flame, which is really cool because this card can negate Droplet and Dark Ruler. And it's only if you're not sending a trap card with Droplet, but that's really uncommon. So for the most part, you're always negating Droplet and Dark Ruler. That's really neat, but like this is also a deck that you wouldn't really want to bring those in against either, right? So it's definitely interesting, but I could see when you have like the branded cards in there, that'd be really good. This is a deck that you definitely just want to have Super Poly for. You want to have Secretarian Dragon. It just clears everything the most times that you're going to want to. The fusions themselves do not activate Engrave once they're Super Polyed off the board, because they have to already be engrave. So if you go ahead and just like rip Super Poly, they're not going to come back immediately, which is really nice. And then Horn's really cool. It's just like a compulse. And then you have Femina that you can go ahead and fuse during the main phase. It's a quick effect. You can do it during both players' turns, which is really cool. So very low to the ground, but definitely something that you want to be aware of. And there's definitely going to be more engines coming out for this. Right now, it's mostly popular with like the K9 cards, but we'll have to wait and see once we get the new card, because that's going to be a heavy branded build. The next one here is K9 Crystron. This is going to be like the large end board that you got to be worried about. I play LC instead of EX, and I think that's going to end up being a lot more popular. LC is also like El Shaddoll fusion, so like if you want an additional body during the battle phase, just go ahead and keep attacking, right? You can always just summon Werewolf, and that card's already crazy. So that's something that you really want to consider. This card is during any phase on any rank 5, where EX is a non-targeting pop, which is cool, but it's only during the main phase, and it's only on K9 monsters. And in a deck like this, where you just kind of like spam rank 5s on the board, I would not want to be playing EX because it's way too restrictive. So LC in this variant is really good, and I think that people will end up finding that out pretty soon. Cluster is fantastic, of course, the endless grind game. Your opponent cannot banish your Crystron cards, and then you also get the free destruction. You also have the Tristaros here for the Dawn Dragster. You have your Ripper and your Infinity, and if you're playing Vamana, you can always put up Vamana, which is really cool. That card's a monster negation as well. Then you have like Lupus Engrave ready to go at any time, and if you're playing Typhon, which you should be when you're playing Lupus, you can go ahead and just summon Lupus effect once it's summoned twice in the extra deck, and just like throw a Typhon on board, which is really cool. It makes it really hard for things like Ryzil to play, because they can't automatically just like use their detonator, right? So definitely very interesting, but this is going to be the deck that's probably one of the best, if not the best, moving forward. I think this deck is very good. VSK9 doesn't have a dedicated end board, but this is as close to it as I could give you after just like multiple games played against this matchup. You're always going to see the Field Spell, you're going to see the Snow Devil, and the Rock of the Vanquisher, usually with a Holy Sue on the end board and a Ripper. And then from what I've seen mostly, you're going to see like a Borger on the end board too, because they're either burning you or drawing, right? So they're just going to keep on adding their hand size. Usually 3 to 4 attributes with the 1 to 2 hand traps. One typically being like Ash or like DD Crow. So this is something that you definitely want to be aware of. This deck is also teching in the 1 of Shifter, so if you get hit by that, you can assume this is what you're playing against, which is kind of crazy, but it is being played, which is, I mean, still Shifter, right? It's still annoying, but it's a 1 of, so you don't really see it that often. Now, as for Yummy, this is pretty standard, having Snatchy, the Herald of the Arclight. You'll have one of the Synchros and one of the Yummy monsters on the board. You'll also have Surprise Set with the minion, where your opponent will go ahead and activate the other one on your turn typically. And then if you're playing against the Obedient School variant, you cannot summon Herald because you're beast locked. So it's just going to be one of the Synchro, one of the names, and then Snatchy and Surprise. This deck itself is really just beat by Dark Ruler and Evenly and Fenrir. Those three cards right now are absolutely fantastic, and they should be in your deck list. I think right now it's really solid, even if you want to like main deck triple Dark Ruler inside the Evenlies. Others can definitely main like the Fenrirs and then side the other two. I personally side all three right now. I side Fenrir, Dark Ruler, and Evenly, just because playing things like Canine Crystron at the moment, your main deck is just so catered to beat everything at the moment. So having a deck that doesn't automatically lose to Droll is really nice. And, you know, this format is going to be very interesting because the new decks definitely usher in a new wave of things that can be played through because of layered end boards. And I'm here for it, honestly. I think that's very cool. But we'll have to wait and see what they all do in the format. If you enjoyed today's video, it was a bit of a shorter one, but I wanted to run through some of the end boards with you. Definitely go ahead and check out my Twitter, Twitch, Discord, Instagram, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you.